Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to a knee-jerk stream, this time for Game Week 26. Obviously, Game Week 25 hasn't quite finished yet. We've still got 2 more games to go, 4 more teams. Obviously, that's not happening until Wednesday, so I thought we'd do a stream anyway, because that's what we always do, and just start talking about... I can't really say how bad the week has gone, because I'm on a green arrow, but it was not as good as I think we would have all liked. It could have definitely been better for Saka, for Salah, certainly for Darwin Nunez. Oh my God. Completely out. Wasn't expecting that. I did think he could be on the bench, but wasn't expecting to be completely out. And obviously Man United have won the Carabao Cup, so happy days. Keep it FPL, please. No United try. All right, let's talk about the Carabao Cup. Now Johnny Boy London has said that. Let's just talk about the Carabao Cup for 5 minutes. What a victory. 15,000 points. Did I? Oh, I did put 15,000 points. How many points am I actually on? 1,512. I wish I was on that many. I'll be cruising to an FPL victory. There we go. Azpilicueta and Silva injury could have avoided if Badia, Sheila and Silva started together. Yeah, I think Reece James is the player I'd probably go for at Chelsea at this point. Maybe Chilwell started back-to-back games. Maybe he's the one. Wan-Bissaka was great, yeah. The only bad thing Wan-Bissaka did was when he won that ball, like, I feel like... Gotta be careful how I say this. when Wan-Bissaka's on the floor, as in when he tackles, I feel like his legs just double in length. But yeah, when he won the ball back in like midfield and it was like breaking, he should have passed left. There was players over, but it doesn't matter anyway. Karius was fine. Like, let's not make a big thing about Karius. Didn't do anything wrong really. And maybe he could have saved the second goal, but it is what it is. Anyway, let's talk about FPL. What should we talk about? Should we talk about the fact that Salah was a bit unlucky? Is that how we want to start? Should we talk about Salah? We never talk about Salah, so should we start with Salah? How unlucky he was. Oh, Joe, I wish we hadn't done this stream, because now I've just reminded myself about Jordan bloody Henderson. What's he doing? What is he doing? Oh. Trent scores. I mean, to be fair, Trent was probably a little bit lucky to have the clean sheet, but could have had a goal. Could have had a goal. Would have been an assist for Salah. Salah hit the bar. The thing with the bar hit as well, it's like sometimes obviously you skim the top of the bar, sometimes you hit the top of the bar and it goes up, but it was underside of the bar, like a couple of inches lower, and that's in. It hits the bar and goes in. Ugh. When am I going to put Edison's shirt on? Or, hey, look, you can be all smart ass about Edison all you want, but do you know what? He doubled Kepa's score this week, so there you go. I got to be honest, I was looking at Game Week 26 wildcard earlier, and one of the benefits is I get to get rid of Edison, so we'll see. Tom, thanks very much for being a member for 7 months. You should be enjoying a beer. I've not had beer for about 3 weeks now. I'm celebrating with a bit of H2O, and I had a roast dinner earlier. So yeah, I think Salah was unfortunate, but look, I'm not. As I said on my tweet yesterday, the thing that was really frustrating, right? I've been in this position so many times this season where you captain Salah and no one else really... I think there's been a couple of times where, maybe not too many, like maybe once or maybe twice in like 24 weeks, 25 weeks, where like other captains haven't done that well. Like maybe Haaland's only got like 5 or 6 points and then Salah just does nothing. It was the same here where Saka got no points. And I'm not saying that Saka didn't deserve returns either, right? Because he played well, so did Arsenal in general. But he had literally blank. So I was thinking, here we go. Just get a goal. Just get a goal and you're already ahead going in the second game. It just didn't happen. That is just my season all over with Salah. He just cannot get me something when I really need it. So that's what was really frustrating. And by the end of the week, Saka will probably come out on top because Arsenal are just better. I just hope that Liverpool... I don't have to watch another Liverpool game with Milner, Henderson and Keita because it was awful. It was awful. At least Salah smashed De Bruyne. Exactly. I triple captain Saka. Well, there's still a second game. That's the beauty of a double game week. Also, Darwin Nunez, I feel like that's a little bit unlucky because, yes, he had that shoulder injury, but he played against Real Madrid. And yes, he came off early, but he'd also done that in plenty of previous games as well because of Firmino and Jota. So to not be in the squad at all, I didn't see anyone really predict that. Obviously, I knew there was a chance he could get benched. And I think the best we can hope for now is for him to be benched on Wednesday and then come on. But I do think they need him. I don't know, like Jota is a good player. It wasn't really Jota and Gakpo's fault the game went the way it did. But I feel like Nunez just brings something that none of the other players do. Like that little bit of chaos that everyone talks about. But at the same time, I don't think it's very likely that he starts. It's probably a bench. So I'm probably going to have to get rid of him straight away. Frustrating. But I think for me, he came in for Mitrovic, who wasn't in the squad. So I'd do it all over again, to be honest. Wolves will be even tougher opponent than Crystal Palace. Yes, potentially, but it's also at home, which I think will help. And I think there was obviously some changes because of the Real Madrid game, and I think Bajcetic. I've said his name right. I think I had his name yesterday. Bajcetic, is that right? Am I close? He'll come back in. I think he's pretty good, better than Milner and Henderson anyway. So we'll see what happens. The problem. Also, I should just say, by the way, quickly, shout out to Tyrone Mings, who was on a 6-pointer when the game ended, and then for some reason, like an hour or so later, he was boosted to 1 bonus point. They must have done some Bajcetic. No, Cetic, isn't it? You're very far away. Okay. Bajcetic. You know who I mean. I'm not going to keep saying his name. He's not FPL relevant. I'm sorry. I apologise for butchering Bajcetic. Okay. Yeah, got boosted up to 1, so that was good. Happy days. Yeah, Watkins no bonus in a 1-0 win. I mean, Kane got no bonus in the 2-0 either. So yeah, Mings getting boosted to 1 bonus and Gabriel getting 3 bonus. That was nice. I bought Gabriel in a couple of game weeks ago for the double, so happy days. Obviously, Nketiah missed out. Interestingly, that was posted on Reddit before the deadline, just nobody picked it up. You'll be happy to know on my Game Week 26 we can go through it if you want. I'll be honest with you, right? We're only how many minutes into this stream? I'm already going to tell you this is pointless. It's very difficult for FPL content this week until the FA Cup draw is made because we need the FA Cup draw and we need the FA Cup results because it is going to absolutely dictate what transfers and what chips we play over the next few weeks. Like the results and the draw could finish in a way where I don't use a single chip until like Game Week 30 or something. But it could also be that I pop my wildcard this week. I just don't know. A double game week's a scam, or are we unlucky? Honestly, I think the whole discussion around double game weeks is just so tedious. Like, double game weeks are overrated. People put too much. Like, they're just. It's like we shouldn't use the information we have about doubles. Of course you should, right? And players have got extra time to get more points. That is just a fact. So players do become more valuable because they have a double. It doesn't mean you should rip your team up to get as many as possible. There's more context needed. But these things happen. There's a second game, right? If Saka goes and gets 12 points in the second game and finishes on 15, suddenly everyone's loving double game weeks, right? I mean, I do think that there's very little chance of getting anything out of players like Tarkowski now. Obviously, McNeil, rubbish. But again, who else was I going to bring in for like 6 less minutes? I mean, Sarabia, obviously, he's got a 10-pointer. I did say that if I wasn't so nostalgic about McNeil, maybe I would go for Sarabia. So that's a shame. But that is what it is. These things happen sometimes. Yeah, we'll see. I'll do the 26 team in a minute. There will be one surprise result in the cup that changes FPL. Yeah, like if if Leicester lose to Blackburn, then suddenly Brentford have a double in 27, a game in 28. I think they would still double it. No, yeah, they still double in 29 because that's already. No, has that been released? Yeah, all the double 29. All the game week 29 games have already been announced. So yeah, Brentford would suddenly go double. Game double, and then that would probably change things. You know, if Fulham lose the lead, suddenly Liverpool playing in 28, less need for a wild card. I still probably get rid of Darwin Nunez, probably, maybe, but I wouldn't get rid of Trent and Salah at that point. yeah, Edison to Raya in game week 27 then becomes a no-brainer. You know, it's all these things will happen. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, if you want to have a quick look at the team I come up with, we can. I will say, I put this together in about 5 minutes, like no joke. So there's not a huge amount of thought gone into it, and obviously transfers and stuff will, like you need to think about what transfers and stuff you might make afterwards. So let me just bring. Oh, this is look at it. What the hell? Why is this looking like this? God, this production value, you don't really get this kind of production value elsewhere on YouTube, do you? You just really don't. Sorry, I should say Roscoe kept hacking, couldn't believe they conceded afterwards. The thing is, I could believe it because I own Edison and I know how rubbish he is. Now, to be fair, you can obviously make a case that because so many changes have been made, like Ake being brought off, then it was more likely that Bournemouth would score, but still, I was just like, when it went in, I was just like, yeah, of course he's conceded now. Like, I think I will say about Edison, whether or not generally he's good, he hasn't been great this season in terms of in the few chances they have conceded, like he hasn't stopped enough. Not like Alisson, for example, at Liverpool. So he hasn't been great. But I still think the amount of clean sheets Man City have had since the World Cup is a joke and very unlucky. And it just would. You play all those games again, they would absolutely have more clean sheets. So it's a bit frustrating, but I can't sit here and tell you that Edison has been amazing because he absolutely hasn't, right? Just absolutely hasn't. As soon as he went off, I thought this is it. Because I was watching that game and Sergio Gomez was coming on. I was thinking, right, he's a left back. Let's see if Ake comes off before the 60th minute. It didn't happen. I don't mind selling Ake because I was always going to want Trent in my side. So it was either sell Ake or sell Mings. And Mings got one more point anyway. And Mings is more useful to me going forward, I think. Is he officially Davern Noodles? He is now, yeah, officially. Kyson has a go. Made the right call on the -8, just the wrong outcome. Still have 7 double game week is still good. Yeah, exactly. I know like people hate it when you just put everything down to, well, I just got a bit unlucky. But there is obviously a bit of luck involved. And sometimes things do go horribly wrong. It just happens. Roscoe, new member, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You tweeted about Ake going off and that just jinxed it even more. I was just like, here we go. Like, Edison's gone. Just 1 week. When Kepa doesn't keep a clean sheet, just keep a clean sheet. Do you seriously believe Trent deserved his 6-pointer? I mean, I think it's fair in the grand scheme of things. Like, he should have had a goal if Henderson got his head out of the way. Anyway, wildcard team. Okay, so you've got to have Raya. You've got to have Tony. So I think 2 Brentford. You could maybe go for 3, but if you're wildcarding, you've got to cover a few weeks, so you can't have it perfect every single week. I think Watkins, Rashford stays, Trippier stays. You need more Newcastle players. I would probably get Kepa, although you could look at Nick Pope as well. Haaland would stay. McNeil doesn't stay. McNeil doesn't stay. Salah goes. Got to sell Salah. Got to sell Salah. Can you believe this? You have to sell Salah. I was thinking, how do I get the second Brighton midfielder in? Well, you know what? You have to sell. No Harry Kane. No Harry Kane. Which I know people will think is absolutely crazy, but there we go. Reece James, though. No Harry Kane, but Reece James in. And who was the last defender? Not Man United, I don't think. Someone that plays in 28, probably. Oh, Brighton. Estupinian, exactly, right? So straight away, by the way, you've got a headache. Do you play Kepa against Leeds or Raya against Fulham? So straight away a headache. I don't know who I would go for, to be honest. Probably Kepa. Just because then probably Kepa. Obviously the Newcastle boys are really easy to bench. And you would probably bench Watkins or one of the Brighton boys, but I don't know who you'd actually bench. I don't know who you'd bench. Because McAllister's a penalty taker. Anyway, I'm not going to sit here for hours and debate whether or not we bench Kepa or Raya, right? It's pointless. So this would be... So there's 6.5 million in the bank for this team. So what did I change from the last team? Someone's different from the team I did before. Anyway, bench Saka against Bournemouth? Hell no. Okay, so in game week 27, you've got your 2 Brentford doublers, you've got your 3 Brighton doublers, and you've probably got a bench James for Trippier, I would say. Oh, this is... You see how hard this is already? Like having to bench one of Gabriel, James, or Trippier. That's not fun. But anyway, this would be the team in 27. Okay, so one of the key things, by the way, is clicking this button, and that gets rid of all the Game Week 28 fixtures which are likely to be off, and all the Game Week 34 ones as well that are likely to be on. So the reason you can get Pinnock, you could get another Brentford defender instead of Reece James, but one, you've got to bench one of these 2 players this week, and also it leaves you stuck in Game Week 28. So you gain a fixture in 27, but you lose it in 28. So in Game Week 28, you would have this team. So Kepa instead of Raya, James instead of Rashford, whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, now, make sure you're sitting down. Before I say the next thing, make sure you're sitting down. Well, I'm going to give you 15 seconds before you sit down. Let me know when you sat down. Okay, we sat down. Okay. You have to sell Haaland. You sell Haaland. For, I don't know, let's just say João Felix, because everyone loves João Felix, right? Yes, this is on FPL.team, by the way. Shout out to FPL team Peter, who is in the chat, who created this. I didn't say what website it was. I apologise. I'm sorry. So you sell Haaland. Now, bearing in mind, I knew everyone would love that move. Right. So the thing with Haaland, he has got Liverpool in game week 29, so that does worry me, because he could smash Liverpool. But it's basically a blank and then Liverpool. Okay, so you're buying 2 extra fixtures. You're buying 2 extra fixtures. So you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players in 28 with no hits. 0 hits. But you wouldn't have a full 11. Loads of people have left the chat. Probably have left the chat. I'm not keeping Salah. Okay? 29, this is the team. So Rashford will come... Oh, sorry. You sell Odegaard to Fernandes. At least. You do at least that move, right? And then the team looks something like this. Botman's probably not quite as good as Estupiñán, maybe. So the team would look something like this. So you've still got an extra transfer. I'm not quite sure what I would do yet. You could sell Gabriel for sure, maybe. Could sell Gabriel for sure. And I'd actually probably... I don't know. Anyway, this would be your bench boost. So you'd have to bench boost 1 single game week player, but I think it's okay. I think that's okay. Whether or not the Newcastle boys would get you anything, I don't know. So you do that. Yeah, Maddison's not a bad option. Like, you could get Maddison instead of Saka if you wanted to. You could just take a hit. So you could do that. Yeah, but if you didn't want McAllister, it could just be March. It could just be March instead in game week 26. That would be your bench boost team. And then game week 30, you definitely get Haaland back, because we're not stupid. Haaland comes back in, and then I don't know after that, because I've not looked that much further. But something like that. You don't have the ball. The thing is, right, when you say you don't have the balls to go out of that Haaland, it's just one game. It's one game where you just have to hope he doesn't hit a hat-trick, which he definitely could, because Liverpool are awful. He has no fixture in 28. He plays Liverpool in 29. That's all that's what you're risking. That's one big risk. Yeah, you could go for Solanke. Solanke's an option as well. Yeah, possibly Solanke. You do lose value, yeah. But the thing is, I don't think... Hang on a second. Like, is it that much value? So bottom 11.5, he's got 0.4 million. Might be worth holding on to him. But remember, you're getting 2 extra fixtures over Haaland for 0.4 million. The website is fpl.team. Hang on, let me just put it in the chat because I should have done that. It's a really good planner, so I use it a lot. Hang on. I'm just gonna. He might fall in price as well, yeah. Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. I don't care. I don't care. I'm sorry to say. Hopefully you all enjoy it, but I just don't care. This is my actual team for this week, by the way. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? I mean, I've got to be honest, the look of this team kind of makes me want to wildcard a little bit, but we'll see what happens. I mean, do you think that plan's awful? It works out. The only thing is, and by the way, with that plan, yes, you only have 9 in game week 28, but you also have your free hit spare, right? So you can save your free hit either for game week 32 if that's a blank that you need it for, or you can use it in one of the later doubles, 34 or 37. For anyone that remembers last season, when I wildcarded early in game week 26, I kept my free hit until game week 37, and we wildcarded in like Leicester players for their double. They absolutely smashed it. Got very lucky, right? They smashed it, and then they didn't do anything. And then I didn't have them again for the last game week, which I didn't need them for. So it worked out really nicely. So I'm kind of keen to hold on to the free hit if I can. But we'll see. We'll see. The thing is, whatever happens in the FA Cup is going to dictate. Like, if Liverpool end up playing in game week 28, then I got to be honest, I probably don't wildcard this week and I just hold this team for a little while longer and hope for the best. Because I've already got like what I would consider the best 3 Arsenal. Rashford's fine. Look, Trent, obviously, Liverpool defence isn't great, but Trent's got 6, 12, 6 in the last 3 games. And also, if I didn't have Trent, I would just be playing, you know, Trippier against Man City or Shaw versus Liverpool away. So I'm not that worried about having Trent. I think Darwin and McNeil would be the biggest issues, really. But I can do Darwin to Tony or McNeil to Brighton, the midfielders. So, Stuart, you're on the gin. Well done, United. Enjoy your gin. Thank you very much for that. What kind of gin are you on? We've seen many times a single game week player outscore the double game week player. Is it worth the risk? It's not how I think I don't get how it's a risk. It's literally not a risk. Surely the risk is going with the player with less fixtures. But of course you need context around that, right? I'm not saying Captain McNeil because he's got a double game week, right? He only came into my side because I needed a cheap placeholder. But I just don't. What's the risk? And when people say things like, we've seen lots of times the single game weeker outscore, how many times have we seen the double game weeker outscore, you know? Like, this is what I find really funny. When someone buys a double game week player and they blank, everyone says double game weeks are overrated. When you have a player in any other week and they blank, no one says single game week players are overrated. Never happens. But when it's in a double game week, like, I think... Let's say a player is projected to get 9 points and then they have a double, so they're projected to get 18 points. I think from an FPL manager point of view, people's expectations go to like 30, 40 points. Like the expectations for double game weeks just get really high. I don't know, I just feel like people, I think people just, I don't know how to say it. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just don't. I think people don't assess double game weeks correctly, and I feel like just saying they're overrated is kind of lazy. It doesn't mean anything. There definitely will be players that we should avoid, whether they've got double game weeks or not. But it's always going to be on a case by case basis, right? I mean, you could look at my team and say, "Well, you've got McNeil. You're an idiot." Well, what about all those people that have got Sarabia, and he's on 10 points with another fixture to go? Suddenly, double game week looks great. Looks absolutely great. But of course, if you're talking about Haaland, then I completely get the point. That is risky. Maybe you're talking about risky. Unbelievably, pink gin, but pink gin's a bit sweeter in it. I don't like gin's a bit too. I don't know. Is bitter the right word? 180 is 2 times 90. It really is that simple. It's just counting. There you go. Kind of difficult to say single game week players are overrated when it's the normal thing. I know. I just hate all the narratives around double game weeks. It's like with Liverpool, right? Everyone that was skeptical about Liverpool, that was just like, I'm not going there. Most of them bought Salah anyway, right? And then the player that no one wanted was Trent, and he's returned. And he's got another game, and he possibly play. And yes, he's got Man United at home this week. It's not great, but then it's Bournemouth away. Then it's a possible game in 28. And Darwin was just, I think it was a little bit unlucky. Like Kane, this big, amazing must-own player that everyone had to keep, he got 6 points. Like if Darwin wasn't injured and he got 1 start and came off the bench in the other game, there's every chance that he could outscore 6 points. So it's easy now to say, well, look what's happened. Like Odegaard, Saka, blanked, and Nketiah didn't even start. Darwin was injured. Salah did nothing. They're overrated. But on another day, they do well. I got to be honest. I think every time I hear someone say double game weeks are overrated, I just think that's someone that you've got an edge over because you're likely someone that doesn't think that, and so you can hopefully get some upside. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes you just do really badly. But I feel like I will always want to try and go for as many double game weekers as possible, because in a game where there's so much content, that is where I guess a little bit of the edge is now. A little bit of the edge. Anyway, that's my rant about double game weeks. I think in the past double game week has killed it, but last 2 seasons we've had Weghorst and Dennis's and Salah, etc. But Salah literally got like 26 points in a double game week last year. It's a worthwhile time to risk it if you think Liverpool have been poor away from home all season. Keep XG King Haaland quiet. Look, by the way, I'm not saying you should sell Haaland, right? I get it. I do agree that's a bit of a risk. But I think the risk is lessened by the fact he doesn't have a fixture in game week 28. So if you're bringing in João Felix, right? Let's say you bring in João Felix or Solanke. It sounds crazy, don't get me wrong. Haaland to João Felix or Haaland to Solanke, right? But let's say you do that. Let's say Solanke gets 17 points. So he gets a hat-trick. Let's say he gets that against Liverpool. I think that's both kind of reasonable and not too over the top, but also kind of realistic as well. So let's say he gets a hat-trick. Well, you've got to hope that João Felix gets at least 17 points over 3 game weeks, which is possible. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but it's possible, isn't it? And that's the kind of gamble that I would take. And by the way, we are 8:30 on a Sunday evening. Game week 25 is not even finished. I might not even wildcard. I might get to game week 28 and not want to remove Haaland. But I think it's something we could think about. But again, we're talking about a hypothetical situation based on FA Cup results that haven't even finished. If Trent gets another clean sheet, he outscores Haaland. I mean, he outscored loads of players, yeah. I mean, he's already matched Kane. He's got one more fixture. Chelsea is rubbish, yeah. Solanke, 17 points. But I'm saying 17 points over 3 games, over 3 fixtures. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's very unlikely. I think you've missed the point. I'm not saying Solanke doesn't have to get a hat-trick to get 17 points. Over 3 fixtures, obviously he could get a yellow card. He could come off before 60. But he gets 6 of those points just for appearances. So he's only got to get 11 points from attacking returns, which, to be fair, for Solanke is difficult. I've been playing FPL for like 12 years now, something like that. In that plan, you could just hokey-cokey Tony, Felix, Tony, keep Haaland and bench boost him. Yeah, possibly. I'm trying to think why. Yeah, I've got not given it enough thought. Yeah, you might be right. But then you're using 2 transfers rather than 1. Guess that's the only difference. Do you hope Leeds win, or would you really like Fulham to win so you can wildcard? I don't know, to be honest. I kind of like the idea of not having to wildcard right now and just seeing Liverpool through till game week 28, but I also know what kind of misery it's been so far. Spurs defence with a second choice goal. I think Spurs have kept 4 clean sheets in 5. I think I saw that on Twitter earlier. Spurs defence with a second choice goalkeeper kept Chelsea quiet. XG conceded by Villa and Everton since new managers arrived. I'm not sure, but Chelsea attack is just not clicking at all. But for Chelsea fans out there, don't panic. I'm pretty sure that Graham Potter will keep you up this year. I'm pretty sure he will. Then you have less doublers on the bench in 29. Yeah, but you'd bench boost Haaland against Liverpool at home, so you'd be okay with that, wouldn't you? Salah could score big against Wolves, therefore every chance he'll match Haaland or Kane. Yeah, exactly. There's every chance that Saka will smash Salah and Salah will just blank it. You just don't know, do you? You don't know. Like I said before, I genuinely think that Salah and Saka are both great options this week. What was really funny though is I've tweeted about Salah and I've tweeted about general captaincy, but mostly Salah and Saka 3 times this week. So early on in the week, when I said Salah or Saka captain on Twitter, it was about 45% Salah, 44% Saka, and that was with 2 other options. So different double game week player or different, or sorry, a single game week player. So it's 45 Salah, 44 Saka. And then I did it late, much closer to the deadline. I think I actually did it on Friday when the deadline was. And then suddenly it was Salah 50%, Saka 39%. So Salah came out in front, even though overall he's not. On Twitter, he went ahead by like 10%. And when I tweeted yesterday after the Liverpool game, if you could choose your captain again, but basically if you'd chosen Salah or Saka, if you could choose it right now for the second game, who would you go for? And suddenly it's Saka 50% and Salah 39%. Even though Saka also got 3 points, it just goes to show how much people... I mean, it might not have been the same people voting, but it just goes to show how swayed people are by recent results. Because they just watched Liverpool, people suddenly wanting to go back to Saka. So it'll be interesting to see what actually happens. There's no replays in this round of the FA Cup. You use a transfer to sell Haaland, you have 1 less fixture in 29, but it's Haaland versus 2 Felix, and you save team value. Yeah, might not be a bad shout. I love double game weekers though. You might be right there. It might be better just to keep Haaland. 1 double-digit haul for Saka this season, 5 for Salah in a struggling team. Is that right? That can be right. Yeah, but I bet Saka's got loads of 9-pointers. This happened with Rafinha. Everyone kept saying, like, Rafinha's not great because he doesn't get double-digit hauls, and yet he had, like, loads of 9-pointers. Yeah, look, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. Quite a few. 1 15-pointer against Liverpool, funnily enough. Whereas Salah had an 11 recently, 12, 15. No 9s, though. No 9s. So, I mean, if Saka gets 1 extra point in all those games, 10 pointers, suddenly we're saying we've got loads of double-digit hauls. Yeah, I realised when I said 9 that much, sounded very bit German. Kepa will not have any clean sheets without Silva. Maybe. Maybe. At least you'll be in the right country to witness a Grand Slam. Yeah, probably. It's only rugby, though. I actually watched the Italy game in full. I thought Italy, like, for someone, I don't really like rugby that much. I thought Italy were quite fun. But they just made loads of mistakes. Too many mistakes. Had Haaland since the start of the season would be a big chunk to buy him back. Yeah. I'm not saying I'll do it. I might bottle it. I may not go for it. Because you definitely want Haaland back, right? You definitely want him back. So maybe that works. So you start off with... So what was Business Cat's thing? You start off with Haaland and Watkins and Tony. And then you do Tony to João Felix in 28. So you'd have Tony... Yeah. Tony to João Felix. Because you're going to bench Tony anyway, I think, right? And then you keep Haaland as well. No, yeah, okay. I'd have to run that back through. I don't want to go back through it all again. It sounds potentially okay. Best thing so far this game is that White has equaled Saka's captain score. I'd like it to be the same after the next game. You never know. I'm not looking for... Wait, who's the first game? It's Liverpool, isn't it? Oh no, it's Arsenal at 7:45. So by the time that finishes, we'll know what Salah needs to do. Yeah, I got to be honest. The thought of going triple Chelsea on wildcard doesn't really strike me with that much confidence right now. I've got to be honest. Saka 135, Salah 125. Saka is cheaper. Yeah, Saka's been great. I'm not trying to say otherwise. But also, total points doesn't really matter for when we're thinking ahead, really. Would you start Trent against United or Tarkowski against Nottingham Forest? Do you know what? I don't know. I feel like I can't. That's the only bad thing about having Trent. I feel like got to get me chair properly. I feel like I can't bench Trent once you've got him because you know what he can do from an attacking point of view. But to be honest, there is probably more of a chance of Tarkowski getting a clean sheet. Do you think that Newcastle would be essential going forward? I think they'll be useful, yeah. Because they play in 28. They might well have... I think Ben and James are saying they might have a double somewhere in like 30, 31, 32. And so, yeah, we'll probably want them. And they got a double in 29. See if there's any leaks about Henderson starting. If he does, you might as well bench Trent. Yeah. Chelsea has 6 goals since the restart. Potter turns any team to XG underachiever. I know, it's crazy. I'm on 26 points. If I didn't even play this week, I would have done high. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people that if they missed the deadline, they'd probably be on more points. If you wildcard 26 or 27, would you save your free hit for 32 or 34? I don't know. I don't know. It would depend. Basically, the free hit would be saved for when I need it. So if Game Week 32 is a mess and it makes sense to free hit that week, then I would do that. If you can get through Game Week 32, then all of a sudden you're saving it for a double game week in 34 or 37. Because it might be, I haven't looked properly at the fixtures, but it might be that in one of the doubles, it might be teams we don't have a huge amount of players from. In which case, free hitting them in is perfect. That's what I did last year. Surely Pope is the second keeper to Raya in that plan over Kepa then. Pope is an option, yeah. Pope is an option, for sure. Because he plays in 28 as well. Although I'm not sure why you're saying that, because I said about triple Chelsea, you mean? Not wanting to triple Chelsea, or a different reason? Yeah, basically, for that wild card team, any player that plays in 28 and doubles in 29 is an option worth considering, really. I might have missed something, but I don't see why you would wildcard 27 instead of 26, unless you. No, I don't. Well, okay. If you're free hitting 28, then yes, maybe wildcard 27 makes sense because you can assess what happens with Tony and yellow cards and stuff like that. But if you're going to try and avoid your free hit in 28, I think you wildcard in 26 so you've got the extra transfer. Like I guess essentially, what are you waiting for by going 27 instead of 26? Unless your team is perfect for this week, which mine definitely isn't. If Blackburn beat Leicester and Brentford play in 28 and so, against Leicester, I don't think it necessarily means definitely not wildcard. I think it actually, I don't know. I guess it makes not wildcard and wildcarding better. We'll have to wait and see. I think the argument is players are less nailed in a condensed week. Not true for all, but more than you think. For a double game week, you mean? Yeah, but there's always players that end it, like Salah, Saka, Odegaard. You know they're going to start twice. Rashford would start twice. Gabriel, Trent. Like, how many of the players that had a double game... Like, if you look at my team, right... So, out of all the double game week players, right, I agree with Darwin Núñez. I knew that was a bit of a risk in terms of starts. I do think the injury's a bit harsh, but anyway, I can't keep saying that. I've got Tarkowski, Trent, Gabriel, Saka, Odegaard, McNeil, Salah. I mean, I would put quite a lot of money on them all starting twice. So I don't think there is a massive amount of rotation. Man United, who knows? Because they're in a lot of cup competitions and stuff like that. But Ten Hag is not rotating that much. And players like Fernandes just always start. So I don't really agree with that. I mean, I'm not... Like, Trent may get benched, right? Because he was not very good against Palace. You know, McNeil might get benched because Gray is an option. But I don't think it's that much of an issue, really, if that's what you mean. Because Pope, because he plays 28, doubles 29, and might have another double in 31. Yes, you're right. So Pope is probably better. Yeah. And also, I think, hang on. I think Newcastle definitely play in 32 as well, don't they? Oh, no, they don't, because they got Spurs. Yes, you're right. Yeah, Pope would be better. Triple Newcastle defence. What could go wrong? I mean, at least Bruno Guimaraes is there, but he did go off. It looked like he was a bit injured when he went off today. So we'll see. Do I keep Badius Sheila? Maybe, but he's going to be an issue going forward, I think. Taking hits every week seems inevitable in order to maximise one's point. What do you think is the right limit of hits, though, say from 29 to 31? Can't say until we know the fixtures, but you shouldn't. If you're going to use chips, you shouldn't need hits every week. McNeil 3 assists, Tarkowski hat-trick. I don't think so. I've thought about doing a match of the day challenge, but to be honest, I can't do it on my own, not on a YouTube stream, because I would just be sat there watching match of the day, commenting on what's happening, but I wouldn't be able to interact with the chat, so kind of pointless. You need another person so that you can bounce off them instead while they're watching it. And also, you got to do it at like 10:30 at night. It's quite late on a Saturday. I was probably in bed by then this Saturday. 20 to 11, I was probably in bed. Oh god, excuse me. Arteta is so weird. Martinelli's now a very good option. I mean, Martinelli's not as good as he was at the start of the season. There is still a chance of him coming off earlier. Like, because Nketiah is not just going to keep getting benched. FPL is down right now. I'm usually in bed by about 10:30. Up by like 6:30, 7, something like that. Awake by 6:30, 7 at least. The draw for the semi-final of the FA Cup could cause us a really big problem for most sides and make that game the best time to play free hit. Yes, agree. Is there any upside to holding the wildcard beyond 27? A lot of us could do with it now, and it's not clear how much it may benefit us. Well, I mean, again, not to make this a really boring stream, but we need to know the FA Cup results, because there could be upside holding it, because the fixtures that are about to come up might be really manageable, and the fixtures afterwards might not be manageable at all without a wildcard, or it could be very difficult. So again, FA Cup results are pretty big. I'm not watching the boxing, though. I mean, I've got to pay money to watch Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. Doesn't sound like good value for money for me. God, Andy, you're so boring. Nathan, you've spelt "you're" wrong. You've spelt "you're" wrong. You need to put... If you're going to say to someone, "you're so boring," you need to put an apostrophe between the U and the R, and there's an E on the end. It's like, "you are so boring." Hopefully that's more exciting for you. Stream bugging. Do you think Newcastle were a bit excessive in their pre-match celebrations before the League Cup? Nah, not really. Like, it's football. Like, they got to a final. They're loving it. No word on Ben. Hopefully, he's probably still watching. Probably still watching. It is what it is. Might be the best quote of all time. It is what it is. I mean, that's what gets me through FPL. Oh look, Salah's blanked again. Is what it is. Edison decided not to save a ball again. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. No free hit, but wildcard available. When to hit it and bench boost? Don't know. Maybe this week. Maybe next week. Let's see. I'll tell you who to follow, by the way, this week. Obviously, follow Ben Crelling. Most of you are following him on Twitter. Follow Planet FPL if you're not already. They do like ridiculous amount of podcasts, but they'll probably do a chip strategy podcast this week, and it'll be very valuable to listen to. So I would check that out. This season, why are you blocking people? Because you're doing rubbish at your job. I'm just blocking idiots, really. Just blocking idiots. That's all. My job isn't really to get a good overall rank. It's to do streams and stuff that you apparently are watching. So I hope you're enjoying the rubbish job. We need a non-sober stream for you after Salah scores midweek. I don't know. I've been trying to drink a bit less recently, so maybe. How's Thiago Silva's injury looking? I don't know right now. Yeah, Planet FPL would. I mean, I like. I mean, their podcasts are just good in general, but right now the chip strategy one would be really, really useful. I am enjoying your rubbish job tonight. Thank you, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying the rubbish job that I'm doing. Oh, it would be nice to get a green arrow. I got to be honest. Am I going to do fantasy F1? I got no interest in F1. Sorry. What I do with Mahrez, I mean, he's got to go sooner rather than later. You're now with Mahrez. You're now in the position where, do you know what? He's got a good game. I'll keep him. Oh, he's been benched. That's annoying. But guess what? He's got a good game, so I'll keep him. I feel like you got to get rid of him now. They don't have Champions League this week, do they? The problem is Foden's back and playing all right, and we know he loves Foden. They got FA Cup. See what team plays in the FA Cup, and then kind of go from there. Don't listen to idiots. The season's unpredictable. I'm only messing, honestly. I don't care what they say. It doesn't really bother me. I think I've said this before, but like sometimes someone will show me a screenshot after someone else will show me a screenshot of someone after I've blocked them on Twitter, and they always take it really badly. They're always like, "Oh God, he can't take any jokes or anything like that," like as if like I'm just sat there like super raging. I just like sometimes someone will tweet, I just think, I just don't want to see from them again, so I just block them and then I move on with my life. The name It Is What It Is was turned down by FPL for being offensive. What you saying? Do you think Sarabia was annoyed because of McNeil Iwobi narrative by content creators? Possibly a little bit, yeah. I mean, I don't think many people were looking at Sarabia for what it's worth. Might be a rubbish job, but it is what it is. Zach, it is what it is. I'll do it if I have to. Sell Felix or keep this week? You've probably got to keep him. It's Liverpool at home, right? Is keeping De Bruyne silly or does it make sense? I mean, I guess you could keep him for Newcastle at home. I mean, there's no need to go to Salah this week, and it's 2 transfers to get to Kane. Depends whether that fits in with the rest of your strategy, I guess. At some point, you'd probably just sell De Bruyne for someone cheaper. Like, keep De Bruyne for this week, then maybe sell into a Brighton midfielder in 27. Maybe. I should start replying to those comments though, because someone did say it to me the other day. They said you should just stop, just ignore them. I think it's funny to highlight idiots, you know. That's just me. Has McAllister ever returned? I think. Oh, Kieran, I've missed a joke. Apologies. I've missed a joke. I don't know what joke I've missed, by the way. Oh, I'm enjoying your rubbish job. Yeah, no, I got that. What was that? Oh, yeah, McAllister. I think the reason people are talking about McAllister now is because he's playing as a number 10, whereas before he was playing deeper. But, I mean, the thing is, I guess, how many games has De Zerbi managed now? Because that's how many we've got to go on. Because they are playing a bit different to under Potter. I don't know. I suspect if I go for 2, I might just go for Matoma and March. But I like the fact that McAllister's playing as a 10 on penalties. So I'll see. I would like to get to 2 Brighton midfielders, I think. Yeah, I talked about Sarabia on Final Thoughts and on the deadline stream. Not massively, though. Do I have any plans to have a YouTube live with some common FPL manager who's not a content creator? I don't know, maybe one day, never say never. Have you ever wondered what job you'd be doing if you didn't start FPL and YouTube back in 16-17? I'd probably still be EA if they hadn't sacked me. As in, like, they didn't sack me. I'm just saying, if I was still there, maybe by now they would have sacked me. When would you play triple captain? I guess you've got to wait for a double game week where you're not using another chip. So really, you're just going to have to play it by ear now. I don't think there is like a set week I can tell you when you're going to use it. Do I think 3 wildcards has been good this season? I think it'll be better next season when there's only 2. I think for everyone to get to reset means that a lot more people will use it at the same time now moving forward. So it's probably not quite as good. But I think they had to do it. I don't think there was a choice. I think it was obvious that's what they were going to do. Oh, yeah, you could triple captain someone in Gameweek 27, I guess. I'd rather try and save it for Haaland, though. But I guess it depends when you're going to end up using bench boost. That's what you'll have to wait for. Do you want a link for Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury? You won't have to pay. Honestly, I just don't want to watch it. Even if it's free, I don't want to watch it. Okay, I think we might leave it there because, to be honest with you, I'm just a bit wary of doing too much stuff this week before the FA Cup because there's just so many questions I just cannot answer without saying it depends, which I don't think is great to listen to necessarily. So, like, what am I going to do about blank game week 28? I don't know. I might wildcard. I might make transfers. I might just go with 9. I might free hit. I just don't know. Next season might be the first normal season since 2018-19. Yeah, hopefully no COVID, no royal deaths. If we send an email about having a live stream with you, will you respond? I mean, maybe, but the answer's not going to be yes. Does this sound hard? I don't know why I would just do a random live stream with someone that emails me that they want to be on a live stream. Does that sound harsh? Maybe. But I mean, I don't really do many live streams with other people anyway. Not for any particular reason. Not because I hate everyone. It's just it's just easier to do it by myself sometimes. That's what I've always done. I do get people on every now and again. No train strikes. Yeah, no train strikes would be good as well. Tony captain in 27. I think the yellow card situation might put me off that. I'd probably go for a Brighton one instead, but we'll see. I'll wait till we get to 27. The thing is, if Tony doesn't get a yellow card in 26, then he can't be suspended for the second game in 27, so then he might become a captain. If he gets a yellow in 26, then I wouldn't captain him because there's a chance he'd miss the second game. We can have a separate call so that you can judge if it's good for your stream. So I've got to do an offline live stream to see if I can get you on a live. I mean, it's probably just not going to happen. I hate to say it to you. What if I email you that do I keep a kanji? Will you respond? Who knows? Brief summary of everything you've discussed. We've discussed that you need to put an apostrophe in your when you're trying to say you are. Discuss the possibility of a wild card 26. Discuss the possibility of selling Haaland on that wild card in game week 28, which went down really well, as you can imagine. We've discussed the fact that Trent should have had, maybe should have had more points. But I won't say unlucky. But could have had more points another day. So could Salah. There we go. All right. I think I'm going to leave it there. Thank you. What's the bet on Tony yellow card? Exactly. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much. Give it a like if you enjoyed it. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 350k before the end of the season, which doesn't look likely, but you never know. So if you haven't already, hit that. Otherwise, I might catch you tomorrow, but I'll see because there's no FA Cup done yet. So, yeah. All right, I'm off. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll catch you at some point soon. Goodbye.